Hey everyone, and welcome back to OntarioCyrptids. Thank you to the OC community on your comments pertaining to the surprise episode I uploaded on Wednesday. If I continue to upload more shorter episodes, they will be scheduled for Wednesday evenings. Also, at the end of this video, I'm going to be sharing more information about my upcoming live stream, so make sure you listen until the end. Today we're going to continue to mix things up. We have 3 stories to share, and 2 of them have been requested during my last live stream when I asked what topics you guys wanted me to cover. I'm going to keep you guys in suspense, so you'll have to wait and listen to the episodes to figure out who lucked out. Okay, if you have an encounter story that you would like to share, then please forward your stories to OntarioCyrptids@gmail.com. I would be honored to share your story with like-minded people. Go grab yourself a beverage and get cozy in your favorite spot and sit back and relax. All right, let's get started. First one, July 5th of 2022, so that was this past summer. We are headed to Crawford County, Missouri, and the nearest town is Cuba. I was fishing at the Riverview Access Conservation Area near Cuba MO, off of State Road O. I had been fishing for a couple of hours. I was the only one there. The sun had gone down and it was starting to get dark. It was right around 8:30 p.m. I witnessed a large rock come from the tree line on the opposite bank and land in the water. It made a big splash. The rock itself was quite large and it flew through the air every bit of 20 feet from the point where I first saw it. I'm 6'3", 350 pounds, a strong guy. But I could not throw a rock that large anywhere near that far. I never saw whatever or whomever threw it. All I know is that something caused that rock to fly through the air. I was instantly confused and fascinated. I stood there for a few minutes thinking I would be able to see something moving in the trees. I didn't, and I thought it was a good idea to leave. Okay, so this one here occurred on October 5th of 2022. It was posted by a user on Reddit called DE_resistant. So I hope you guys enjoy, because this is one of the ones that you guys had requested during the live stream. 2 nights ago, I woke up in my bed feeling that there was someone in my room watching me. I checked my house alarm system and everything was normal. So I just figured it was my imagination. I laid back down, facing the other side of my bedroom, when I saw a translucent figure of a person standing next to my bed, facing me. I can best describe it as the way the predator looked, with a shimmering nature to it. While I didn't feel like it intended to harm me, I was freaked out. So as lame as this sounds, I grabbed my pillow and threw it towards the entity. At that point, it was just gone. In a conversation tonight I had with a friend, I told him about this, and he told me about the Glimmer Man and this sub, which I've never heard about before. It's crazy to read that so many people have seen something that they describe exactly as what I saw. I'm still processing it, but I wanted to share it here. So this one occurs in the fall of 1978. We're going to be heading to Fannin County, Georgia, and we're going to the Chattahoochee National Forest. This is a strange encounter I had years ago in Georgia. Mind you, I've only told my brother and wife about this encounter, and it took place 44 years ago. So here it is. It was the fall of 1978, deer season in particular. I live near a very small town called Sasquatch, Georgia. It only has a population at the time of around 1,000 people. It's in the southeast end of the Chattahoochee National Forest. I'm an avid hunter, and I was hunting on public land in the National Forest just up the road from Sasquatch, in an area called Cooper's Creek. I had scouted out the area during the summer, so late July, early August, I knew where all the game trails were. I knew where water was located, which happens to be a small creek known as Byron Creek. And I knew where all of the ridges and gaps were. I've hunted in and around this area for years and was very familiar with the area. Well, when I finally located a good spot, or at least a spot that I thought would give me a good chance at a large buck, I set up my lock on a tree stand in a tree about 12 feet off the ground. I trimmed the branches to give me some shooting lanes and basically was all set for deer season. Oh, I was hunting with a 12-gauge shotgun. Rifle hunting is not allowed in the area. So fast forward to early November. I had been hunting out of the tree stand about 6 times by the time this particular hunt happened. It was late afternoon around 4:15 p.m. I wanted to get there early, but work held me up. We had hired this new kid named Ryan, and he was slowing me down all week. Anyways, this was a Friday. I finished up at work, jumped in my truck, and headed out to my hunting spot. Now, this was my normal routine for a Friday afternoon during deer season, and my wife knew that I would not be home until around 8:30 p.m. and even later if I bagged something. I parked my truck at the trailhead and started a hike into the woods to find my tree stand. The walk would take me about 15 to 20 minutes. You want to walk pretty quickly but not run. You don't want to make too much noise moving through the woods. And you don't want to spook any of the wildlife. As I was walking to my stand, the first thing I noticed was how quiet it was. I mean, it was very quiet. I didn't hear any of the normal chirping or singing birds, no insects, nothing, and only a slight breeze. I thought it was a bit strange, but I continued to my deer stand. I finally arrived and climbed up and settled in. Once I was comfortable, I jacked around into the chamber, put the safety on my shotgun, and then began surveying the surroundings, looking for anything out of place. Sometimes the deer bed down during the day, and you can spot their antlers above the tall grass and underbrush. As I was doing this, I began to have this ominous feeling that someone was watching me. I don't really know how to explain it, other than I had this deep feeling deep within me, in my core, in my gut. Something wasn't right. Well, I tried to ignore it for a while, telling myself to stop being such a coward. There's nothing out here but you, some deer hopefully, some squirrels, skunk, and other little critters. As time passed, the feeling only intensified. I kept looking at my watch, wondering how much time I had left until dusk. Should I leave early? I thought to myself. Of course not. A huge deer was probably only moments away. As I was sitting there arguing with myself, I caught movement to my right side in the tree. I slowly turned my head and began looking through the tree canopy, and that's when I saw it. This is the part that still gives me chills. Even writing this now freaks me out because I honestly don't know what I saw. As I was staring into the trees, I saw what looked like a large bodybuilder but completely blurry moving through the trees. I could clearly see the outline of the figure, but the rest was blurry, like I couldn't focus on it. It looked like a clear, gelatinous blob, but in the shape of a human, a large human. And whenever it stopped, I completely lost sight of it. It blended into the background perfectly. I just watched it for what seemed like an eternity, but in actuality, it was more like 15 minutes. It moved through the trees effortlessly, like a monkey or a squirrel. It never really looked at me while I was watching it. Maybe it was before, and that's why I got the feeling someone was watching me. I don't know. It slowly moved off, and I was scared about my walk back to my truck. So I waited for another 30 minutes. It was getting dark now, and I slowly climbed out of my stand. Once I hit solid ground, I wasted no time. I sprinted all the way back to my truck. I jumped into the cab of my trusty Ford pickup truck, and my lungs were on fire. That was the farthest and fastest I've run since basic training back in 1967. I just sat there in my truck and tried to regain my breath. I drove home and said nothing to my wife or anyone else for a few weeks. As time passed, I tried to convince myself that I imagined it all, that I dozed off in the stand and I had some sort of a dream. But I couldn't get the idea of that thing out of my head, so I broke down and told my wife over dinner one night. She just listened and said that it was probably my imagination. I later told my brother, who said something similar along the same lines. I never told anyone else, and I never hunted in those same woods again. I never even went back for the tree stand. It was only like $300, and I didn't want to go back there again, not for a measly $300. I took a break from hunting for about 10 years and then started up again, but never in that area. I still wonder what I saw that day. I have no rational explanation. Later in 1988 or so, I saw the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, The Predator. I couldn't believe it. When I saw it, I jumped up and yelled at my wife, "That's what I saw. That looks just like it." I don't know if the writer had a similar experience as mine, and that's what inspired him to make the Predator cloak the way it did in the movie, or perhaps he heard some other eyewitness accounts. But that's almost exactly what I saw in the woods in northern Georgia in the fall of 1978. Mind you, not the reptilian-looking beast with the laser, but the cloaked part. Like I stated previously, I thought I was alone until I saw an episode on the Glimmer Man, and I now realize that others have seen it too. I don't know if that makes me feel better or worse. Anyways, that's my story. All right, guys, that's it for today. I do want to thank the Reddit user D-Resistance for allowing me to share his Glimmer Man story. And again, this hunter who encounters this Glimmer Man entity or phenomenon, whatever you want to call it, predator type entity, great story, but very frightening encounters. And it kind of reminds me of the David Paulides, The Hunted, I believe was the video he had put out. And in there was a female bow hunter who had encountered the same thing up in the trees while sitting in a tree stand. And she even took a picture of it. But you do have to wonder, back in 1988, what made the writers come up with a character or a entity looking like the Predator? Was it somebody's encounter, someone's actual encounter story that they took and made that part of the movie? because there have been quite a few folks out there who have witnessed the same thing. Okay, now for the live stream. So I had said previously that I might have done it on the 21st, but I was thinking, Halloween is coming. I know it falls on a Monday, but wouldn't that be a perfect evening to have a live stream? So that's what I'm going to do. So the live stream is going to be on Monday, October 31st, and it's going to start probably more closer to 8 o'clock in the evening. So I will make that official. I will post something in my communities tab. I'll also send out some advertisements in my social media accounts, and I'll probably have at least one or possibly two more videos that I'm going to be uploading, so I'll make sure to mention them again. So mark your calendars. I'm trying to get a guest speaker to interview, but I haven't had a response yet. I'm going to continue to see if I can get this one particular person that I can interview for that evening. If not, it might just be a community chat. So in any case, I hope to see you guys during the live stream on October 31st. Okay, so again, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I want to thank you guys for listening until the end. I truly appreciate it. Please hit that like button on your way out and smash that subscribe button if you're new to my channel. And for those, if you hit the notification bell, that's going to keep you up to date with all my latest uploads. Have yourselves a great weekend, and I hope to see you all next week right here on OntarioCyrptids.